So it appears no matter what side of the border you fall on, there are statistics to back up your claims. Now the question remains, which side can make the more compelling argument to back up those stats and convince the American people that they're right? All right, joining us now to discuss this is Jessie Jane Duff. Jessie is a senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research. She's served after serving in the U.S. Marine Corps. Jessie, great to be with you. Thanks for coming on this evening.
Thank you so much.
You know what they say about statistics, right? There's lies, damn lies, and then there's statistics. Now, when you take a look at everything we're down on the border, Jessie, how does one side make the more compelling argument when you're citing statistics to really win over the American public on this issue?
Well, regardless of the stats that were read off, whether you're from a conservative think tank or a liberal think tank or a libertarian think tank, they all did identify that illegals have criminal problems, whether it be a third of the number or twice the number. How many crimes are acceptable to the American people? Today, there was a briefing with the White House that they gave about illegal immigrants that when they are set for asylum hearings, showing up. So essentially, in absentia, they end up becoming felons because they don't even show up for their asylum hearings. This is in overwhelming numbers. And when you're talking about cities that are sanctuary cities that are all Democratic run, Democrats run these cities and protect the illegals. Look at the MS-13 murder that just happened last week up in New York. And when it happened, this was somebody that had been released by local police because they would not detain him for ICE. So ICE is constantly running around chasing these illegals that the state and local agencies have obtained at one time for some type of trafficking problem or DUI or whatever it may be. But because or cities, they are letting them go. I mean, the problem goes on and on and on. So whatever side you're on, nobody can say that there aren't illegal acts or criminal illegals that are in this country.
All right, the act of crossing the border illegally is an illegal act in and of itself. That's what a lot of people point to. Now, Jessie, President Trump, of course, holding that rally, El Paso, Texas tonight. Meanwhile, former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke will hold his own rally at the exact same time in the exact same city as the president is giving his speech. Now, is this a preview of 2020? Maybe not with Beto personally, but Democrats as a whole seem like they found a winning issue, at least in their own minds, on the border, and that's whatever President Trump is for, they are against.
Yes, I think you hit it right, in their own minds, because they seem to forget President Trump did get elected. And this was a huge rally cry among all those that voted for him. It's not just a campaign promise. It was a promise that helped him win the office. So Beto lost. The last lost to Senator Ted Cruz has been very, very aggressive on border control issues and ensuring that we only have legal immigration. When you talk about 33% of the women being sexually assaulted, when you talk about the 10,000 children per year, and I've heard numbers higher than that are human trafficked, the wall can stop much of this. And once we send the message out to the southern border that you must come here legally, a lot of this will stop. Legal immigration is what this president is for, not illegal, and let alone the criminal activity that is going on in the illegal immigration.
What kind of compromise do you think is support here? We've heard of this money about number, but a lot of these folks are not in favor of any kind of amnesty whatsoever.
Well, his base definitely is divided on, but President Trump did offer an extension for DACA for 3 years, which was rejected, and the people who have overstayed their visas, he offered that extension, which the Democrats rejected. I think the president has offered many compromises that the Democrats repeatedly have rejected. So guess what's going to happen? There will be no compromise. The president will probably do what Mick Mulvaney has stated this weekend. He's going to get the money from somewhere else and ensure that this wall is built. And if he has to do a national emergency, he'll do just that, and he will validate it by showing all the deaths of Americans and all the criminal activity and the criminal cartels and the MS-13 that is wreaking havoc across our nation and causing havoc within the cities. At the end of the day, President Trump is going to keep his word on this one way or another.
Jesse. He was very careful today, too, to say if there is another shutdown this time, Democrats will own it, not taking the same approach he took the last time. All right, as we wrap up this segment, we're going to keep you around for the next segment, too, but I want to ask you quickly about Amy Klobuchar. The Minnesota senator announced officially that she's running for president over the weekend. Let's take a listen.
We are tired of the shutdowns and the showdowns, of the gridlock and the grandstanding. Today, on this snowy day on this island, we say enough is enough. Our nation must be governed not from us, but from opportunity, not by wallowing over what's wrong, but by marching inexorably toward what's right.
Earlier today, Wayne Allen Root talked to Bill O'Reilly about Klobuchar. O'Reilly had to say.
Ms. Klobuchar is a intelligent woman. She won every congressional district in Minnesota. 60% of the people put her back in the Senate. You know, she's a retail politician. She has skills. She's not a far left nut like Mar, but she'll play along if that's where the money's coming from, because obviously all of these people need to run the country telling people they should be president. I don't really have a strong feeling about Klobuchar. Minnesota is an interesting state. It's not crazy left if you go there, but they vote crazy left. Al Franken, hey. So I don't think she's got a shot. She has no shot. But, you know, she makes some money by doing it, running around, making speeches and all of that.
All right, Jesse, outside of Minnesota and those of us who pay very close attention to politics, most of America has never heard of Amy Klobuchar before or couldn't pick her out of a lineup. What kind of chance do you think she stands in the field of 2020 Democratic candidates?
I agree with Bill O'Reilly, no shot. Again, no name recognition. If you're depending upon Minnesota voters, that's not going to be enough to get you across the finish line. States that are suffering from the illegal immigration issue alone will not vote for her, and that's where many of your voters are resting. You've got Florida that's going to fight against her. You've got Texas that's going to fight against her. And, you know, we know California is a toss-up, but when it boils down to California, the rest of the nation seems to not appreciate their values as it is anyway. And I say that very lovingly because I'm a Californian. But no, she doesn't have a shot.
She better start embracing some of these Green New Deal policies if she wants to win in the primary. But, you know, that is the trend, to really embrace these far-left policies. That seems to be what everybody's doing. Jesse, stick around. When we come back, we're going to continue our border discussion. I know. That's what they seem to be doing. Jessie Jane's joining us again. Now, of course, the House has a 72-hour rule, guys, meaning that a deal really has to get done by tomorrow to give everyone time to read the bill and make sure everything's copacetic. They can sign off on it. Jessie Jane, do you think that's actually going to happen by tomorrow? Or what are the percentages, in your opinion?
I don't think we're going to face a government shutdown. I don't think the president's going to do that. There will not be a deal made. They have made it very clear they have no negotiating tools in their body. They have obstructed the president every step of the way. I do think the president is going to look to alternative methods because there's no win for either side at this point with a government shutdown.
Lee, do you think, Congressman, do you think anybody's going to sign this bill if, say, if there is a compromise and a miracle happens, that the president might just veto it instead if it doesn't have what he likes in it?
Sure. The president, I believe that he would if we just do 100% of what Nancy Pelosi says is her version of compromise, is to give her 100% of what she's asking for. It's not going to be acceptable. And by the way, there's a lot of hypocrisy here. You're talking about members who would be opposing this funding today, who not only in 2006 voted for the Secure Fence Act, but even the last fiscal year 2018, voted for money that is being used right now to be able to harden our barrier. And we're seeing that the administration engaging in projects all across the border. Now, the other side, they like to say that that the administration of President Trump is calling for a big wall from sea to shining sea. That's not opposing. You're taking his words out of context. But, you know, to the point that you know, Jessie Jane was just referencing, I think, and to your question, I believe that the Democrats are not going to negotiate between now and tomorrow morning. So I don't expect that deal to come to fruition. I hope I'm wrong. And on top of that, I think that the president isn't going to just sign whatever Congress passes if the only thing that we are able to pass is for Pelosi to get 100% of what she's asking for.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, you know, I don't know what would be the best situation for President Trump. He takes a bill and vetoes it, or just goes ahead and tells them flat out that he hasn't seen anything in the bill that actually is worth them sending a bill over to him to actually take a look at and sign. Jessie Jane, how do you think this comes down? Are you pretty certain there's going to be President Trump executive order and declaring this an emergency?
I do expect that, because there's no win for him to shut down the government. Let one plane go down and the FAA has problems. I mean, we started seeing our government workers not even showing up for work for whatever reason that it may be. And then if one thing happens, one national emergency happens, it's going to fall on the president's shoulders. And he recognizes that. I think that our Republican colleagues have done the best they can to push and shove these Democrats. But at the end of the day, the only people who have shut down are the Democrats. They've refused to compromise on every single level, that the president has thrown them bones multiple times, much to the chagrin of his base. Much of his base doesn't want to see some of those negotiations. But
well, the deadline is approaching very quickly this Friday. Congressman Lee Zeldin, we wish you luck up there in Washington, D.C. in these negotiations. Jessie Jane Duff, thanks so much for joining us. Great to see you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.